Welcome to another episode of the S.E.M podcast. Jack and Zach are back again. Today we're joined by Russ Bass, the famous Russ Bass. How are you doing, Russ?
I'm good. I'm doing really well, actually, right now. So
great.
I can't complain. Oh, I yawned, and now we're doomed for the rest of the thing. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. We'll claim it's very late at night.
Yeah, 4 kids and work, and kids are all doing things. You're just always tired, you know?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds right, yes.
All right. So, Russ, our format is we talk about your story leading up, how you got to Scotland. Then we'll skip over. We'll find out what you've been up to since the mission, and then we'll go back and reminisce a little bit. So tell us your lead in.
Wow. Well, my lead in is probably a sad story, and not one that most parents want their children to have, because I don't know that I ever all actually planned on going. It may be surprising to some of you. But before, like, I didn't grow up in a family that was really active. We went to church, but not like most active families do. And so it was kind of always something where I was like, well, I'll go, I guess, maybe. It was probably lucky that it was Scotland, because I don't know that I would have, gone somewhere else. So I was very blessed in the fact that it was Scotland, because it gave me a place that I was like, okay, yeah, I'll go. I also had a girlfriend at the time and wasn't sure I was, should I go? Should I not go? Any of those other gentlemen out there who were like, well, I'm glad I wasn't dumb and stuck around, if that makes sense. But I didn't have any big epiphanies or like, oh, I need to go serve. I was kind of a selfish kid at the time, to be honest. And I wasn't the best prepared by any stretch of the imagination. I hadn't had a bunch of prayerful, anything that led me to really want to go. All of that happened once I was there, to be honest. And I had a mom who was like, you're going to put your papers in, and you're going to, and it was a good thing that she was on the ball and pushing, and I'm grateful for that every day.
Good. So,
yeah.
And that we went out at the same time, so you must have put in your papers about the same time, like September of 2003.
Yeah, so that's probably about right. I think I got my call like October, like the first part of October or something. I opened it at my brother's football practice because my dad was coaching the team, and so we had somewhere to open it, and every, American idiot doesn't pronounce Edinburgh correctly. So I'm going to Edinburgh, Scotland. And everyone's like, whoa, that's cool. So I had no idea. I thought for sure it'd be like Missouri or, Africa or something. Scotland didn't even occur to me.
Scotland was right in between Missouri and Africa.
Yeah, it was in the middle part there. Somewhere.
So, oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So skipping over February 2006, got home. What have you been up to since?
Well, first of all, I got home and I remember going downstairs and I just like bawled for like 3 hours. I don't know if you guys did the same thing or not. It was like you got home, you were like, you're relieved to get home, right? I was super drunky at the end. I was like, oh, I'm really, really ready to go home. Ask whoever it was I was with at the time. Oh, it'll come to me. No, it might not. Midgley. I think Midgley saw me off. Richard Midgley.
Sounds right.
Poor guy. I mean, yeah. Anyway, but I just remember going downstairs to where my bedroom was, right? That was foreign to me at this point. My parents had like repainted it and made sure I had a new bedspread. I don't know. My mom had decorated the room. I was like, okay, thanks. But right now I am destroyed. I've just left home. And I just remember just being, prayerfully crying, I guess is the only way I can really describe it. But anyway, so after that, and once I recovered from my meltdown, if you will, I was looking for a job. I wasn't sure if I was going to go to school or not. And so I started looking and ended up going to be a financial advisor at Ameriprise, and they help you get licensed and stuff like that. And so I did that for a while. Started dating my wife, and amongst other girls, Zach actually knows my wife because she went to the girls' camp that his mom used to run, which my daughter, who is 12, is going to go to this year.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
So, yeah, it's like, it's kind of weird too. You know?
A little full circle.
Yeah, when they're old enough. And Aubrey's like, oh, guess what? She can go this year. And I was like, wow, that is,
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I enjoyed the fact that I got to know your wife before you guys got married, because my mom was just so involved with her, and I was like, she suits Russ perfect. So I'm glad that you guys ended up together and have a great little tribe. That's awesome.
Well, you know, most days they're good. We have our faults and setbacks. We're trying. Yeah, anyway, so then we were dating, decided we dated for a while. I dated another girl or two. But kind of a funny story about that. Well, I'll share that when we talk about the mission stuff. After that, when we were getting married, her dad pulls me aside and he goes, "So you're going to school? You know, what are your plans?" And basically committed me to being baptized and getting a degree. And he did well. And now I have two. So that's the way it all shakes out. So I have an undergraduate in finance and then a master's, an MBA. And I'm very grateful for him for pushing me to do that because it's helped our family. And it's not necessarily the things that I even use in my current day job. But it has been a very good blessing for us. Anyway, so fasting forward, if you will. I worked in other places in the financial services industry. After a few years, we don't need to go company by company, but I ended up in tech sales. Did not terribly well at a company that was starting to falter. They laid me off. I was out of work for almost a year, in which time I finished people's basements with some additional skills from growing up and having a dad that was very handy. So it worked out in my favor. And then during that time, I also taught myself some new skills. And so for the past almost 5 years now, I've worked for a company out of California called Ivory Consulting as a developer. So I do primarily front-end development and a little bit of back-end, focus on reporting. We have some pretty cool products that are fun to work in, and I really like it. So I find, it's still in financial services, which is kind of interesting. But anyway, so all along that pathway, we had 4 kids who are 12, 10, almost 8, and almost 7. The last one we weren't quite ready for, but he found us anyway. So you know how that goes. But can't imagine without him. So it's.
And you guys live where now?
We're in Lehi, in Utah.
Lehi.
So for those who don't know where that is, kind of by Provo, a little bit north of Provo, in between Provo and Salt Lake. For the other 2 people that'll watch my my little video.
You've been requested quite a bit. Don't sell yourself short here.
Oh, really? Well, see, that's the other thing. I purposely didn't watch anybody else's because I didn't want to be like, okay, well, and lazily. I'll be honest. I've been a busy guy, and I could very easily have just pressed play while I was working, but it didn't occur to me until this morning. So there you go, guys. You are. I love you both. I will listen to them now over the next week. How's that? There's a lot.
You got like 80 plus episodes to catch up on, probably well over 100 hours of listening if you'd like.
Well,
So
I'll have I'll have something to listen to. That's good.
yep.
Yeah, you will.
So yeah, and we've lived out in Lehi ever since we got married in 2007. So
Wow.
onto the second house. We bought a house right when we got married. We were lucky, and it was a rural place. You could get loans at that point. I actually had, oh no, now I'm not remember his name. Was my real estate agent. He's gonna watch this and be like, Russ, come on, man. Come on.
He's not staying top of mind. That's a problem on his part.
Well, yeah, I guess there's that. I don't think he's doing it anymore, actually. He married a sister from our mission. Who was it? What's his name?
Jake Bradley?
Yeah. It was Bradley. Bradley sold my first house. So
Pretty
anyway, but yeah, and here we are.
And your oldest is a girl, your youngest is a boy. What about the in between?
So I have Peyton, who's 12. She's the oldest. She is the other three wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. She's like the perfect child. I mean, literally. And I'll regret saying this Sunday, but she is like wonderful. She's extremely, she'll do what you ask, loves her family. She's an old soul. She's also a very, very good actress and singer, which is pretty cool and fun to watch. She's currently in SpongeBob, the musical, at the Lehi Theater here.
That's cool.
She's Sandy, the squirrel that likes martial arts, and science. So anyway, and then there's Tate, who is 10. He is all loves baseball and engineering stuff. So boy, Tate is a boy. I figured I should. Girls can like baseball and engineering. Just then there's Sloaney, who is almost 8. So she gets baptized in a little over a month, almost 2 months actually. No, a little over a month. And she's like the sweetest little thing ever. You know what it's like when they're that age. Well, maybe you don't. I don't know. Anyway, the other 2 people that watch they'll know what I'm talking about. Sorry. Okay. And then there's Whit, who is currently 6, little boy who's just loves all the things little boys love to do, like drive everyone else crazy and be everywhere. So, yeah.
Cool.
So that's them. Now, everyone else has probably already asked you guys these questions, like, how many kids do you have? Should I ask that, or should we do that after?
If you want to know.
I want to know. Yeah, tell me.
Go ahead,
I just have the one daughter. She's 8.5.
8.5.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's very much like your oldest. She's an old soul. She's unbelievably witty and smart, and sometimes can drive me crazy because of that. But love her to death.
Good.
I've got 3: 11-year-old girl, 8-year-old boy, almost 9, and a 6-year-old girl. A blonde and a brunette and a redhead.
Wow.
So
they're all almost
they're great
all
kids, though.
Well, they're great kids, though. We got to prep. The redhead, no one's ever quite sure about, but sounds like that's worked out okay for you. That's good news.
She's fiery.
Sorry. Yes.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, so that's basically where we're at this point. I don't know
That's good.
where to move from here, gentlemen.
We'll go back February 2004. MTC.
Okay.
If you don't remember, we went to England.
Oh, yeah. I remember that much. I do. I remember going to the temple because we got to, or do we not even? I don't remember anything, guys. This is bad.
We did. We went to the temple every week.
Every week.
We went every week.
3 Saturdays.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Wow. See, this is
Who was your companion in the MTC?
Oh no, that's the one I won't remember. This is going to sound really bad, but I know he went home. Oh, do you remember who it was?
Stever?
Stever. And he and I went to our first area. It was in the same flat. Only he was with what was oh man.
You have any memories from the MTC? Let's stay there
Yes.
for a minute.
Yes. I do remember he and I got in a slight altercation. I don't recall why, but I do remember that he didn't particularly love me very much. And that's okay. Not everybody loves me. So I don't even remember what it was about. We had some disagreement about I have no idea. I just remember us not being like the most friendly companions. And I was like, oh no, if this is how it is the rest of the time, I'm screwed. So, I mean, obviously we were in there together. Brandon, Glenn Parmenter. Let's see who else. There was quite a few of us.
That was a big group. There was actually 15 of us going to Scotland.
And that's all I can put together.
And 60 something in the MTC with us. So it was a pretty big MTC group for over there anyway.
I do recall everyone getting in trouble at some point in the MTC. Before I go down that road, do you remember how terrible they would cook something like at least once a week? It might have been the fish. I don't remember what it was, but I remember thinking, I'm going to starve today because I'm not eating whatever it is they're cooking down there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they changed chefs or something. Zach loved the food. I don't remember our group being particularly fond of it.
Oh, it was no. Yeah. They must have.
Maybe that was why, Jack. They got a new chef because you guys.
They were like,
your feedback was like, man, this is just awful food. Please.
They hear from the mission presidents. The missionaries that are arriving in Scotland are thin. We should try to fatten them up a little bit. You know,
you guys don't look like Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They look like the other guys.
Exactly.
It's true.
I do remember we got in trouble a couple of times in the MTC. I think we got at least one time. It might have been Brandon and I, and maybe somebody else. We were singing in the showers.
Yep.
And I remember I don't remember what we were singing. It was like Disney songs or something.
The national anthem.
It was the national anthem? Well, no wonder we got in trouble. That's funny. Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that. I actually have a cool story about the MTC. Now that we're talking about the MTC, I do look. My brain is
fire away. Yep. That's how it goes.
All right.
Welcome to the magic of the S.E.M podcast.
Wow. Thank you for the Spirit has provided. I need a haircut. All right. Anyway, so when I left on my mission, I had not received a patriarchal blessing. Which when we got there, they were like, how did you get out of America without a patriarchal blessing? And once again, like my family wasn't really like always there. It wasn't a thing that was like on the check off list to do. I don't even know if my bishop had even said anything to me as I was preparing to leave. So here I am in this room, and there's this old English dude who I've not said more than 5 or 6 words to, like, hi, nice, and then he gives me this patriarchal blessing that is extremely personal to me. And I remember sitting in the chair and just feeling so much peace while he was doing that I hadn't really. And now, granted, in the MTC, it's pretty peaceful, unless you're feuding with your companion a little bit, But it was a really cool experience, and I guess I'm lucky that I didn't have it before I left. I guess to have that experience, a little bit of a testimony builder for me that I was doing the right thing and was where I needed to be.
I remember when that happened. You came out and it had obviously been like a good experience, and it caused all of us to kind of reflect on the experience of getting our own blessings. So that was kind of cool.
I'm glad you remember that, because I don't remember after it all. I remember being in the room, and that's it. And it wasn't very long. I remember I wasn't in there for very long. And there was a lady in there too. I don't know if she was writing or typing or something. But yeah, she was recording the blessing. Well, you're welcome, Jack, for my laziness before I left.
I remember too, you shared with us that I was like, I know this guy's different, because you talked about after you were set apart as a missionary, going out to eat with your family on Sunday.
Oh yeah.
That would never happen in my family.
Oh, it's funny. Well, that was Super Bowl Sunday too, so it was like we had a bunch of. Anyway, yeah.
Was it? I don't even watch the Super Bowl, so.
Well, there you go. Yeah, it was also we'll leave that out there. The one Janet Jackson sang in the halftime show, and I remember asking. We talked to to my stake president. He's like, "Yeah, you're good. Go and watch the Super Bowl. It's fine. You're fine.
You're set apart when that happened.
Your mom's your companion." I was like, "Okay, great, whatever." So yeah, everyone watched the halftime show. Okay, well, so that was the leading experience of the mission.
That's kind of prep for Scotland.
Yeah,
in a way.
A little bit. Those morning runs. Yeah, a little bit of that. A little prep there for you.
All right. So moving into the mission now, Scotland, what was your first area?
Oh, okay. So I was in Perth. What's his name? So I had Cardenas. Cardenas was my trainer. Elder Cardenas, the Peruvian Englishman. Very suave, handsome gentleman. We had an incredible amount of fun when we weren't trying to annoy Stever and was it Rittman? Rittman, yes, Rittman, yes. Oh, okay, there we go. That guy, he was funny. He had an iPod, like before anybody knew what an iPod was. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. Totally wanted one after that. Anyway, but yeah, so Perth was good. I don't remember a whole lot of tracting there. I do remember my first night. We went to dinner at a member's home. And she had all these puppies on the floor. There was no carpet in the place. And she had the thickest accent that I don't even think, and he did it on purpose because he knew I wouldn't be able to understand a word. So she's talking to me, and I'm trying to relay what I think I'm hearing as answers or questions, and she's looking at me like, she's looking at him, and he's just laughing. it was brutal. So what a guy, though. Absolutely love him. It's fantastic.
He's one we need to get on.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of companions I had that you guys, if you haven't already, you need to. So, and I wasn't there very long. Then I went from there. I went to Sterling. And I had Clark. I think I was his last companion before he went home. And that was fun. I learned a lot from him, actually, on how to be more relationship oriented with all of these families and people that you'd go and teach. We had more people. It was a bigger ward there, or not ward, I guess, branch. We met in the school, which was kind of cool. I don't know if they still do that or not there. And there were some characters. I wish I remembered names, guys. My brain is failing me. Thinking of Ian, and he was kind of an older guy. They had the coolest house, windows like everywhere. I don't remember that. There was also another guy in that area that would make us steak, and he'd like leave it out forever. He wanted to take us up to what's the Stonehenge. He wanted to take us to Stonehenge, but he's like, but I always get high when I go up there, so I'm gonna bring we were like, no, we're good, we're good, we're not doing that. It was pretty funny. I don't even remember how long. I think I was there for maybe 3 months is all. And then I went to Dalkeith, which is just below Edinburgh. And I think I had maybe Hagar there. I know I had Rollo there. And I also know I had Levi Taylor in one of those two places. Hey, I'm doing a little better than I thought I would. That's
pretty good here, Russ.
I know, right? Rollo and Taylor, those are guys you need to get on, because if you haven't had them already, they made a massive difference in my mission experience. When I was with, I believe it was Rollo, I got a letter from home that wasn't a good one, right? And I was pretty upset. It was an email, actually. I think it was an email. We came, and you could walk just across. Our flat there had the best shower ever, by the way, out of any of the mission showers that I had, even though Kirkcaldy was also pretty good. Dalkeith was, I mean, it was above a paint store, though, so it always smelled like paint inside the flat. Like it always smelled like paint. But you got used to it after 20 minutes, and I'm sure we only lost half the brain cells we walked in with by the time we were done, right? So, and it was worth it for the shower. That shower was phenomenal. But anyway, so I get this really, really bad email. I was really upset, and we walked back to the flat, and I remember vividly, like I remember the two beds in the room, and I remember kneeling down and asking him if I was really supposed to stay. Sorry, guys. To take the pain away, if he could. And instantly, and it's the only time in my entire life that the Lord acted in the most instant way that I've ever felt. It was gone. And I stood up and I walked back in the other room, completely fine. And I was like, how is this even possible? So my testimony of how much Heavenly Father loves me individually comes almost entirely from that moment. At least the beginning of it. Okay, so let's get to the upper moments of the thing there. Sorry, that's
good.
That is an upper moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but there were some crazy people in that area, and they were so much fun. I think we had at least one baptism there, and I don't remember. Oh man, these people are going to hate me for not remembering their names. I was very blessed on my mission to see a lot of baptisms, a lot more than most missionaries. I think I was a part of 9 or something, like 7 to 9, somewhere in that range. And I have them written down, and I should probably go find that and, reach out to them.
That's part of this too, is just remembering and getting prompted to go back and dig out the old journals, pictures, whatever.
Thanks a lot. That's what, well, like I don't have enough to do. Okay. I'm just kidding, Jack. It's fine. Yeah. I remember we had a big barbecue there with the branch, and we had a bunch of fun, like throwing water balloons and just playing with everybody. We were in our suits, and I remember it being so much fun. Um, oh, I wish I remembered names. Dang. Okay. So Dalkeith, there were, I think, I wish Brandon had jumped on, because I think in Dalkeith was the only time that he and I actually got to go on splits together. Well,
I think you would have been in the same district, him down in Dumfries.
yeah, that must
You
have
up
been
there.
that must have been it. And we went to this lady's house that we were teaching at the time. I don't remember her name at all. She was a really old lady, and she loved me. I don't know why. You guys probably had similar experiences with certain people where they're just like, "Oh, you remind me of my son." She would tell me that all the time. "You remind me of my son." And she was one of those forever investigators, right? The ones that everyone goes and sees. And the day that we went to see her, we didn't have an appointment to see her. We just stopped there because we'd been knocking doors, I think. And he's like, "Man, I'm kind of tired. Can we go do something else?" And so we went to her house, and she gave me this silver chain. And I remember that because I found it in a box not too long ago. And I was like, I didn't know what to do with it. I was like, I don't think I should take this, but I don't know how to say no. And I don't want to make her feel bad. So I guess I'll take the chain, right? And I'm like, it's just a different thing, right? Like over there, culturally, a lot of men would wear jewelry and necklaces and their chains around their necks. So it was just kind of funny that happened to be the one time, and we go, and that happens. I'm trying to think of anything else in that area that other than, I know we had at least one younger lady that we baptized. I don't remember her name. I think there was an older lady. And those were the first baptisms that I was a part of on my mission, and it was really special.
And you served with Taylor and Rollo there, both in Dalkeith?
I may have served with Taylor in Sterling, or no, I think it was in Dalkeith. Oh, I don't remember.
Okay.
Maybe
We'll get him on. He'll set the record straight.
Yeah, well, hopefully. I mean, maybe he'll do his homework.
He can say whatever he wants, and now we have to believe it.
Yeah, I mean, the only other people that might disagree would be the other two people that watch this one. So anyway, I'm sorry, guys. So then after that, I went to Stranraer. And I had Derricott, who ended up having to, I think he needed knee surgery. So he went home, I think, after he was with me. It may have been a transfer or two later. I don't remember. But I do remember that he wrote me a letter, because I wrote him when he was home to check on him to see how he was doing. And he wrote me back. And I remember getting that letter. I don't remember any of what it said or any of that, but I do remember that I was like, wow, he wrote me a letter back. This is awesome. What a guy. But I do remember he was in a lot of pain. I remember his knee was really, I think it was his knee. I'm pretty sure it was his knee. It was really bugging him. And I think that was the first time I was a senior companion with him, or maybe, yeah, I think that, or maybe no, it was the other way around. I don't know. I don't remember. But I do know that after that, I had, well, first of all, Stranraer is like one of the coolest places ever. Did you guys ever get down there?
Nope.
Okay, so you're married. You have Hallmark wives, right?
Of course.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. I couldn't tell, Jack. You just like went into this sadness zone, and I thought, oh, poor guy. I'm just kidding. Anyway, so, but it was over Christmas time when I was down there, and in like the cute little Hallmark movies, they have like the Christmas lights dangling across the high street from building to building. It was like storybook down there. And then there was this cool town over to the, I guess the east, or what would that be? I don't remember. Anyway, called Wigtown. It was like this massive book town, and there was this music store that we would go in down there. We were trying to teach these people, and they were pagans. And the dad was like, he would travel around. I remember, this is such a random story to share. Here I am sharing this extremely personal, spiritual moment, and I'm going to share this goofy one. So sorry, everyone, but it's what I'm remembering. So, but we're in here, and I don't remember. I think I had Colby. So I had Colby Hawkins as my son, right?
Yep.
Good old Colby. And we were out there, and their dad was there this day, and so they had this little music store, and we liked to go in there because he was. I don't know if you ever were around him and had him play the piano. Yeah,
I was.
oh yeah, that guy can play piano. Like, I mean, I have a fun story to share about him, and he may remember this differently, but I know this is the truth. So I'll get to that. All right. So back to Wigtown. So we're in Wigtown, and it's kind of it's a ways out, so we had to be careful with our miles, right? And so we're out in Wigtown, and we're at this family's house, and we would just meet with them in the storefront, just in case they had other customers that came in or whatever. And the dad's there, and he's like, "Well, I'll play a song for you guys." Okay. So he starts playing the song, and I think he was a little high at the time. I think that it had happened. Anyway, he's screaming the Cranberries song, "Zombie," and he's just screaming it at the top of his lungs and playing the guitar. And I'm like, this is amazing. I wish that I had videotaped it, because I remember it so vividly in my mind at him just, and I remember, I think it was Colby, I really do, but whoever my companion was at the time, we just looked at each other like, this guy is crazy. This is amazing, and it's one of those fun experiences that you have that you always tell your kids. But my kids have heard the story. They're probably sick of that story, right? But it was fun. It was really fun. Great place. Wigtown was cool. We liked going out there. But that flat that okay. So what was I going to talk about next?
Colby.
Is that where you picked up the guitar?
Yes. I may have. Yeah, I think that was probably when. Yeah. And then I ended up buying one in Kirkcaldy, which was my next area. So, yeah. No, I had one then. I don't remember.
Carry on.
Yes. So we're chapping doors, right? Colby Hawkins, my son, a beautiful baby boy, and it's kind of been a miserable day, like a lot of them were. I mean, I know you guys, every day that you knocked doors was perfect. Never rained. It was perfectly sunny.
No, we all served in Scotland.
You never wrecked on your bike or your pants. None of that stuff ever happened, right? No, never. But anyway, so he's pretty exhausted at this point, and I guess I'm teaching him what to do. Not really. It's like you just walk up to the door and you tell him who we are. And so he knocks on this door, and this girl answers the door. And she goes, "Hi." And he goes, "Hi, can I play your piano?" That's it. That's all he said. And he could see through the cracks in the door in the living room, just off to the side, he could see just the curve of the edge of this piano. And she goes, "Sure." So we walk into this house, and she's got music sitting on the piano. And she's like, "I'm trying to learn this." And he goes, "Oh, this," and just starts playing it. And I was like, holy cow.
Did you know he had this talent at that point, or no?
I think he had talked about it, and maybe he'd played some hymns at church or whatever, which down there you met over the top of the hardware store. So there was
Okay.
that second story of the hardware store, and that's where we met. And when I was leaving, they were trying to buy a building down there. I don't know if that ever got done. But I want to say the McLeans that were down there, they had this cool dog, these little Scotty dogs, right? Named, and one of them was Robbie. And so I named my first dog once I got married. His name was Robbie. I had to put him down this year. He was a little Yorkie. Cool little dude.
Oh, wow.
He made it for a long time. He was an old guy, very old guy, but that's where his name came from, was because of them and their cute dogs. I think it was McLean's. They lived like out on a farm area, kind of out there. Great people. Another story. So how long do we have? All of a sudden, my brain is like, neurons are just.
This is how it works. A
All
tidal wave hits.
You've got plenty of time.
You know, the worst part is I'm going to miss somebody. I'm going to feel terrible when it's over. Oh.
That's what
So,
part 2 is for, or being a guest host in the future.
If you're one of the 2 people that watches this and you're out there and you realize that I forgot you, I am so sorry. I'm getting older. You know, it's not. Anyway, so what else? Where was I going?
I want you to finish what happened with the piano playing story. So he plays the piano in their house. What happened?
She's just like, how can you play this? And he could just sight read and just play it, because he's that good. He was that good. He was amazing. And so we sat there and we talked to her for a few minutes after he played. And I think that was like a little tender mercy for him. I think he was struggling. He was just barely, a missionary, and it's hard, and his piece of home was the piano, and here was this piano, and he got to play it for a few minutes, and we shared, a little bit of the first discussion with her, and I was like,
got in a door.
I mean, if you find another piano, ask away, man, just do it. So
yeah, we'll have to ask Colby when we get him on here how many times he used that line. Hi, can I play your piano?
I don't remember exactly if he didn't say anything else, because I'm pretty sure if he'd have said we're missionaries from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, she wouldn't have let us in the door. I'm pretty sure all he said was, "Can I play your piano?"
Hey, it worked.
That's what I remember, and I might romanticize it and remember it more, amazing than it was, but it was amazing to me. So
that is cool.
Colby, I miss you, man.
You guys also recorded some pretty good music that you shared later on in the mission together. Do you want to recall that? We
did. We actually recorded some of it in the flat. We had a young man who would go on splits with us, and he had a laptop, and he'd record us playing music and stuff. And so we saved a bunch of that, and put it on a CD. And I recorded music with a lot of my companions, like Aurelio. We recorded some music. I guess maybe not a lot, just 2. Maybe there's more in there. 2 that I currently remember. If you're the guy I forgot, I'm sorry. Anyway, can you tell my one fear of doing this was that I was going to forget people that mattered to me, and I didn't want them to feel that they didn't matter. I would kill me if they felt like that. Anyway, does that answer the question?
Yep.
Yeah, that was.
Okay. Yes, so we did record some music. We had some fun. We actually recorded some stuff that I still have on a mini disc player in the basement of a castle that was in between Stranraer and Wigtown. There was a castle, and it had incredible acoustics. And I remember going down there and recording primary songs, I think, or something. Yeah.
Those were the ones that were on that disc, amongst other things.
Yeah. Well, it lived on. That's kind of cool. I didn't know. All right. Okay, so before I forget about these people in Stranraer, so did you guys ever serve around the Coles?
I don't think I did.
I think I met him, but I didn't serve around him.
They're no longer here. They both have passed away. But I remember this. So they were both very musical. And so there were the 2 of them in Stranraer as well. They were the senior couple that were down there in Stranraer. So they ran the branch. I think he ran, not necessarily ran the branch. They have a branch president down there, but he would help, obviously. And she ran the show. I mean, if you knew her, you knew that she was in charge. And Lyle was just, okay, honey, whatever you want to do, right? 2 of the best people that I've ever met in my entire life. She was brutally honest. one Sunday at church, I sang His Hands. Now, mind you, this is the only time I've ever done that. I'll never sing it again. I just won't do it because I was sick when I did it. And she told me when I was done, she said, it wasn't very good.
Oh, geez.
It was amazing. And I knew it wasn't. And I think it was Colby that was on too. And I think, and she just looked at me. She's like, "Yeah, you probably shouldn't have." I was like, "Yeah, I know." But I was really sick then, though. I had pneumonia and took forever to get better because they wouldn't give me antibiotics because I wasn't from Scotland.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a miracle.
Doctors down there, they were like, my parents ended up sending me some antibiotics from home. She called the doctor and he gave them to her and she shipped them over in a bag of M&Ms, which is kind of funny. Peanut butter M&Ms, best kind. So, but the Coles were amazing. They lived up here in Bountiful, pretty close, so I got to see them a few times before they passed, and wonderful people. My youngest son's middle name is Cole because of them.
Cool.
So if you didn't make that cut, sorry, everybody else. I still love you. Just kidding. Anyway, yeah, very cool people. I really loved it down there. And then after that, I went to Kirkcaldy, right?
That's what you said, yeah.
I went to Kirkcaldy. And I was there for a long time. I think I was there for 9 months. Yeah.
10 and a half, I think.
Huh?
You were there a long time. I think you were there 10 and a half.
Oh, was it that long? I don't know. I don't remember. I know it was a long time. I know it was long enough that when I left, people actually gave me cards when I was leaving because they were like, "Goodbye. It's finally time for you to go." And we baptized quite a few people up there. I think I had Bieker first. I had other Bieker. I had where was he from? Norway, the Norwegian stallion. Then I had the Italian stallion.
Yeah.
Aurelio. Love that guy. If you want dinner, he's your best guy. I mean, seriously. Though I'm not joking around. El Aurelio is the guy that you want cooking your dinner. Just make sure it's pasta because I don't know if he cooks anything else. So
he does make good pasta.
Yeah, he did. I remember he once made us a dinner out of like there was just like cans of food somebody else had bought that I'd never eaten that were in the cupboards. I think that happened in a lot of flats, right? There was like potatoes in a can. I was like, I'm not eating those. That sounds disgusting.
Like members would give us we don't really want this, so here you go, missionaries.
Yeah, exactly. Here, guys. And we would eat it because we got hungry. But anyway, I think we were out of money at one point. And he was I think I shared food with most of my companions, actually. I don't know if you guys did that or not. Most of them, I was like, look, we'll buy one thing of milk. I'm not going to drink very much of it. So if you drink a lot of milk, buy your own thing. And we'll figure. But anyway, yeah. Trying to think here. So I had Christofferson.
That's right.
Man, Christofferson.
Yep.
I think he was my last one there. But Aurelio was fun because like we sang at one of the baptisms, we sang "I am a child of God," but in Italian and English. And that might have been on that CD. If it's not, I have run across the CD of that recording. Oh no, I'm not going to remember their name. They're going to hate me. I love them too. But there was a dad that was in that ward or in that branch, and he had all this music recording equipment. And so we went over there and they were like incredible member missionaries.
I don't remember their names either, but we had Christmas dinner there.
Yes.
So, and
yes.
Yeah, he had a recording studio, like in a closet, but
I mean,
it was legit.
Yeah, especially over there, right? And even their house was like a house over there. Their house was like, wow. this is a beautiful house over here.
Yeah.
But yes. Oh, why can't I remember?
He wanted you to marry his daughter too.
Yes, I do remember that. I remember that as well. I don't remember.
You were my district leader when I moved into Dunfermline, and we were there together for 6 months. So we got to spend a quarter of our missions together.
Wow. Was it that long?
Can you believe that? Yeah.
No. I remember the Watts.
Yeah.
Remember the Watts? And their fishery and going fishing. And watching oh no. Who were your companions there?
I had Conway for 6 weeks and Littlefield for 4.5 months.
Oh man. You had Littlefield for that. You guys must have been like really, really close at the end of 4.5 months. Holy cow. I don't think I ever had anybody that long.
He was my longest companion.
I would imagine. Yeah. If you'd had somebody for 6 months after that. Terrible.
No, I loved Brent. We had our moments of butting heads, but
Oh, everybody does. Everybody does.
just a great man.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I remember the most about most of my companions is just the little things that you learn from them. Like Aurelio, he was so mad at me if I was late getting out of bed, even just a few minutes. And I was like, dude, it's like 6 minutes, man. I am so tired this morning. He's like, Elder, come on. Elder, come on. It's like, okay, fine. And so I'm dragging myself out of bed. And it was good. It was good for me at that time because I needed a little bit of a push, right? And he was doing that. And then he, I think I helped him maybe understand how it is to, I don't know what I did. I know that I could tell you what I do know is that music in that relationship with him particularly fixed any weirdness or awkwardness or anything that we'd had when we first started. It made us like it does within the church. Anywhere you go, whenever there's music, the Spirit resides there. At least that's something that I've learned. So powerful. And I guess it just, some people, it'll speak to you differently than others. But for me, music is like, it just kind of pierces me. And okay. I feel it. Fine. Okay, I'll do it. Fine.
That was some of my favorite experiences with you there. Like walking to church pretty early in the morning. We'd ride the bus and then we'd walk from the bus station up with you guys and singing like the duet of Child's Prayer.
Yeah.
And
I remember that.
I'm sure people were like, what are these guys doing at 7 a.m?
Yeah. It was fun though.
It was great.
We actually, were you with us in any of those times where we would like sing in the town square? We were singing hymns or whatever and trying to get in touch with people that way. Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah. I think I was on an exchange with, I think it might have been with you when we did that. I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We went up to St. Andrews and sang in one of the churches up there. That was pretty cool too.
That was awesome. Do you remember when we glued the 25 pence piece or 50 pence piece to the ground and that little kid came back like 3 times and then drug his dad back? Do you remember that? That was mean. And we ran over like, here, dude, here's I don't remember what it was, but it was probably my idea. I thought it'd be funny to see people try to pick it up and it was glued down. Anyway, I don't know if you remember that. I do. Okay. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
One of our more shameful moments, but it was super fun. It really was.
Some of my favorite memories was great spiritual high district meeting, and then immediately going outside or going into the cultural hall and playing hacky sack.
Oh yeah, and then getting beamed by you, the guy who throws harder than anybody else in the room.
Oh, I don't know if it was me. Like Fisher would pelt the crap out of me.
It was probably Fisher. Yeah, Fisher would really throw hard. I remember that. Oh.
Fisher, Pilkington got into it pretty legit. Like he'd grab and just hammer you.
Yeah.
You'd see his competitive streak come out. But man, that was so much fun. And then we celebrated. We had one district meeting that happened to land on the 4th of July, where we had like a barbecue after.
Yeah, I
That was
remember.
that was a lot of fun.
That was fun. Wow. There's so many things that I don't remember. I got glasses for the first time in that area. Do you remember that?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I can't see anymore. And then you look at the trees with glasses and you're like, oh, wow, I can see again.
There's leaves.
That was the worst part. I was like, oh my gosh. I remember walking up the stairs to our flat. And I don't remember who my companion was at the time, but I was like, looking out the window, there's a little window at the top of the stairs. I'm like, oh my gosh, there are lines in the leaves. It was
Yikes.
sad. It was sad. But hey, I remember with Elder Biecker, there was one day we were down on the high street, and I look over, and he's talking to a clown. And I was like,
No.
what are you doing? I'm like, here you're interrupting this. He's trying to make some money, like doing balloons. I think he was doing balloon animals or something. His name was Stephen Smith. And we baptized that man. And I learned
He was
that
great.
I learned that day that if your companion gets somebody to talk to, don't look at him like he's a weirdo for picking the clown, the guy dressed as a clown on the street. I hope he's still. I wish I would have done a better job keeping in touch with a lot of these people, but I am not a. What is the social network guy? If you send me messages on the Facebook, I'm never gonna get them. It's just not.
Yeah, we know.
You want me? You talk to Aubrey. Send it to Aubrey. She'll be like, okay.
That's how I tracked you down.
Well, I think that is, yeah, isn't it? You texted her and she's like, no, that's his number.
My mom still had Aubrey's number in her phone, and I was like, well, let's give it a shot. And by some miracle, I got Russ Bass on the line.
Well, you found me. Trying to hide away in my hermit crab shell here. Yeah, there were some other really wonderful people who baptized in that area too.
And I'd like to know what happened to Stephen too.
Yeah,
he would hang out with us all the time on P days.
Yeah,
and just over to his house. Just a great guy.
Absolutely. I know that I know he was active for a while. I don't know if he still is. I know for a few years after I did get communications from him, and at one point he was going to try to come over, but he wasn't. I don't know if he ever did or not, but I hope he's okay. I hope he's doing well. I hope his mom is still around and that she's doing well too, because she was a super sweet lady. But yeah, so there's why can't I remember? This is horrible.
There was that one family. It was 2 daughters and a mom that joined the church. I don't remember their names, but that was interesting to me because when we were at their baptism and talk about the confirmation of the Spirit.
Yeah.
And I remember it being distinct at that baptism. Like the 2 of the baptisms seemed fairly normal, and then the youngest daughter was baptized and really felt like, wow, like this is special. It was different.
I hope that they're still doing well too. We were trying with the dad on that family for a while, but I don't know that he ever. But yeah, they were. I wish I remembered their names.
Or you've got it written down somewhere.
Well, yeah, I'm sure I do.
If not, I've got the harvesters.
I have the harvesters as well. It's all about going through them, and
I'll take the time to do it.
Fine, I'll do it. Oh man, just kidding. I should do something. I could, it's not like I'm not a busy guy. I'm working at lots of time, and then you got kids, and they're all like, "Hey, Dad, let's throw the ball, okay? And let's build something cool, okay?" I'm not even a guy that gets to watch TV, So I'm just kidding. Sorry. I'll complain. It's fine. But I'm very, very blessed. I'm very blessed.
Okay, and then there was the other sister who got baptized. She was single, and she asked you.
I can't believe you remember all this.
You taught her about the law of chastity, and she's like, "But I don't want to get married, and I want to have kids."
What did I say? Was this like in a lesson that we were teaching or something, or what?
I wasn't there. I heard after the fact, that you were reporting out or something, and
Okay.
I think the question went, I think it might have come up in a missionary council or in the ward council, something like that. Like, how can we help this sister understand?
It's not gonna be okay. Yeah, that was always the funnest one to teach, the law of chastity.
I mean, she committed and joined the church, and was a good sister. She would go on joint teaches and stuff. I think she was called as a ward missionary.
Oh, I remember. She had brown hair, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I should know. It reminds me, actually, in Stranraer, we baptized a dad and his daughter. His name was Bruce. And I don't remember, for whatever reason, I remember going and visiting him in like this holding cell area as the clergyman. I don't know if you guys ever got to do anything like that. It was so crazy.
Interesting.
His girlfriend calls or texts us or something. I think she called. We got text, but not very frequently, right? I mean, I don't even know if we could use. Were we able to text message people? I didn't.
We
think
could
so.
receive them, but we couldn't.
We couldn't send them out. That's right. Yeah. So she calls us and she's like, they arrested Bruce for something. And I was like, what? And he was supposed to, it was like right after he'd been baptized, I think. And we baptized him and his daughter in the rec center pool, which was pretty cool. Anyway, so we went and visited him, and they're like, only one of you can go back. And so I was like, well, okay, so I'm going to go. I think I had Colby with me. I think he was waiting outside by himself. Breaking rules, But I was like, I should go talk to him. I think she called us. She's like, he really wants you to go talk to him. Okay. So I went in and gave him a blessing in the cell. And I remember being like, wow,
That's unique.
This is very interesting. I don't want to be behind these ever, And I don't remember why he was in there, if he got drunk or something, or I don't know, something happened. He screwed up, and he was like, I need help. So we went to help him. But anyway, Kirkcaldy, let's go back there. I'm trying to think of other people and things. I don't know that there's anything else left to talk there. I'm sure there is. Do you remember the talent show where we went up to, what's the bigger one where the building was? Did you guys go to that one?
In Dundee?
In Dundee, yeah.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember a talent show in Dundee.
Okay, that's probably for the best. I think I sang Stairway to Heaven or something with a band of a bunch of people that were in the ward or in the branch or something. It was kind of funny. It was, I think they sent a video of it to my family.
I would have remembered that.
Yeah, I'm sure you would have. Yeah. It was a good day. It was a fun day.
You remember going to that service where there was like a visiting minister at a different church, and we sat like on the front row of his sermon. He's like, I want to recognize the elders.
I remember that.
And he really appreciated us being there, but it was interesting.
Most of those were terribly interesting. Yeah. But that's what you get when you grow up in the church and you've never been to anything else. It was pretty shell shocking for me, actually. A lot of those, you're like, whoa, walk into a Baptist church and they've all got their arms up, dancing and singing. And you're like, wow, this is way more fun than our church. We should go here more often. But some good times in Sterling, man. There was a church that really had it happening up there. I remember, Clark, I think, took me once, and I was like, wow, this place is crazy. It's awesome. So
We had
Yeah.
some pretty fun zone activities in Dundee too, like football days, and we had that picnic and water fight that you and I were both there. I don't know that Jack was at one of those events, but not the water fight.
I don't think he was at football. Or were you at football?
I was at football.
Who was the guy that could catch? Like, if I just threw it out there, he would just like dive and grab the ball.
Paul Christensen.
That's who it was. Yeah, I just
Mr. Football Utah.
and he just grab it, and I was like, wow.
He was
does he
incredible.
He was so good.
Just be watching him. Like, oh yeah, you're supposed to tag him out. You're amazing.
Yeah. Like, I'll just throw it up. He'll find it. It's fine. Just throw it up there. Yeah, that was fun.
We did have a lot of fun.
That's true. Oh man. Well, and then I went up to Aberdeen after that. I'm trying to think. There, I know there's something else I'm missing that I was going to talk about. Because I thought about Kirkcaldy earlier. You know, you try to. I'm missing something, somebody, and I'm sorry. I don't know what it is, but I remembered earlier. Oh well, sorry. I wish I remembered. Oh man. Anyway, okay, so we'll go to Aberdeen. Maybe I'll remember. I think that was my last area, right? I went from Kirkcaldy and then to Aberdeen. And I don't remember who. So I had Midgley. Did I have anybody else, or was it just Midgley?
It was probably just Midgley.
I think it was just Midgley, and he saw me off. Poor guy. I was so trunky at that point. But Aberdeen was really fun too. So they have their own building, right? Like it was a. Did you guys either of you serve up there?
6 months.
Wow, aren't we special? All right.
It was. I love that ward. Man,
The ward's amazing.
Yeah.
Were you there for like? I mean, they would do these big musical. Like we did this restoration program where I sang. What the oh how lovely was the morning, that Joseph's first vision.
Yeah.
And but I can't sing it in the key that it's played in, right? So I'm telling the lady that I can't remember her name either. Oh, and I think I have the music from like the Christmas program that we did still in a box somewhere. I saw it when we moved. But anyway, I remember we had quite a few people come out. And so she's playing the music, and then I was like, okay, and then I'll sing, but I'm going to sing it a cappella because I can't sing that high, right? So I started singing Joseph's first vision, or whatever the name of the song is, and I get halfway through and I start crying because the Spirit's just pounding through you. And so I'm trying to compose myself, and they're looking at each other. The lady that's playing the piano is looking at the whatever her name is. Oh man, I'm ruining the whole story because I don't remember people's names. And she's like, "Don't play anything. It's not in a key if you start singing again." And so finally, I was able to compose myself and finish singing. But that was a really fun night, and we saw a lot of new interest in the church from it, from people that were invited by their friends to go and see it. And the Spirit was really strong. I really remember that.
Yeah, there were some amazingly talented people in Aberdeen and like the Bridge of Dawn ward, and we did a number of things. So again, I was there the following Christmas time, and we had 2 separate events that we did that were all musically themed. But man, well, I guess one was a film festival, which was a lot of fun, and then we did a Disney music extravaganza night. So
Nice.
I highly recommend finding those videos on our YouTube channel and rewatching those because you'll get a kick out of them.
Nice. Maybe I'll remember names if I see people that were there.
I'm sure you will.
And I also remember singing a couple of songs at the Christmas concert, and they would pack that thing, man. Like it was full.
Yeah.
It blew me away. I was blown away. I just thought, wow. people liked the churches. It was great because in any other area that I was at, we had hardly any, people that were attending, or very small numbers. Other than Kirkcaldy, I mean, we had a fair amount of people that would show up, 50 maybe or so, maybe more than that when I left.
Yeah, my perception was skewed because it was at the end of my mission. It seemed like a lot of people, and compared to everywhere else, it was.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I was pretty lucky. I didn't ever end up. I'm gonna say this sounds really bad. I was lucky. I didn't end up in like Glasgow, but I didn't. I only had those few areas, and there really weren't. I always wanted to serve in Inverness, but I never went to Inverness. Actually, I went once for something. I remember practicing music up there with Brandon for something that maybe it was when his dad was here. I don't remember. And he did that big thing, and I know some of us sang at that, but I don't know if that was me or not. I don't remember. It was for something. I remember practicing something for something, and then we performed at something. Sorry, Brandon.
Perfect. So you should have come on, Brandon.
Yeah, geez, man, your brain would have been helpful. Golly. Yeah. I don't know, guys. I think that's all I currently. What else do you guys remember that I'm not remembering? You remember anything weird I did or funny or anything that was like really stupid? You should share it. This would be the time.
All I know is that I looked up to you big time. Like, you just had that spiritual aura about you, that you had moments where we were not practicing quiet dignity and you'd tell us to knock it off. And then you'd have other moments where you didn't practice quiet dignity and we'd tell you to knock it off. But it didn't matter. Like, the give and take was still there. It was just, we had a great relationship in the time that we were in the same district together, and we just had a lot of fun. And that was really what I needed at that time in my mission, because I was still pretty new.
Yeah.
And I needed to learn how to focus when I needed to focus, and then have fun amongst the rest of it, which was really, really important. So I appreciate that.
Well, you're welcome. I didn't intentionally do it. So thanks for being grateful for something I didn't really try to accomplish. But
you were the district leader. You were leading us.
Okay, I'll take credit. I'm fine with that.
You should.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm the greatest. There we go. Can we move on?
You are the greatest.
I don't know about that.
I just enjoyed serving around you because you were always up for whatever. Like when I said let's go to midnight mass on Christmas Eve, you went to it.
The best part was watching people's faces when you walk in the door, midnight mass, and you're a missionary and you got your tag on. They're like, who invited those guys? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun.
And in Kirkcaldy, at least, like we overlapped there quite a bit, and you ran like public relations for the ward, which helped me out because I'm just socially inept, and then I could just do missionary work. So
it's all
and tracked to my heart's content.
Oh man, there was so many other ways than knocking doors too.
And we I remember when we were on exchanges there one time, we knocked on the guy's door and he's like, I know I should be a member of your church, but I'm never gonna be. And we're like, what do you mean? And he's like, my name is Joseph Smith.
Oh man.
So
that's amazing. I don't remember that at all. So I'm glad you shared it because I really don't. I was talking to my wife. I'm like, oh, Aubrey, I'm going to be so embarrassed because I don't remember things. I feel like I have the worst memory. But I'm pretty proud of the fact that I think I remembered all of my companions' names today. I don't know. Does everybody know their companions? I'm probably not that special.
Everybody, pretty like a lot of people come on same as you. They're like, I'm not going to remember anything. And then the memories start coming back. And we've talked, almost an hour and a half. Just
that's true.
Reminiscing. So, and it jogs other people's memories too. One of the neat things about this is putting together some of the timelines for who's been in what areas, who followed you in or left before you, those sort of things. So it all weaves together, right? Our experiences in that great country.
Agreed. So I'll share another experience with you. So I kind of mentioned this earlier. You know, when you were leaving, right? And President Vriens pulled you in and gave you a blessing before you left. Remember that? No? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
I don't remember it.
You don't remember it? Maybe.
I was so
You and
ready
I
to
left
go.
the same day, man. It had to have happened. It happened to me.
It had to have.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't have President Vriens for my exit interview, so I remember the exit interview,
true.
but it was very, very vague in my mind.
Huh.
Honestly, it was one of the first times I had sat in President's office since the first day of my mission, or the first day in Scotland. So, anyway.
Yeah, I think that was probably the same for me. I don't think I'd have been in there. It rarely was ever in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
To be in there, right? So, but I remember it scared the crap out of me because he gave me the blessing, right? And he's like, "And I bless you. You'll go home, find a member of the opposite sex, and you'll fall in love, and you'll get married in the temple." And he's going through these things, and the only person that came to my mind was Aubrey, my wife, which scared the crap out of me.
Wow.
So here I am sitting there, like I'm about to go home, and he's telling me I'm gonna marry this girl that's my friend. Like in my brain, like Heavenly Father's really telling me right now that's who I'm supposed to marry. Scared me. So then I get home and I told her, like, well, don't come to the airport. You know, I really wish I'd have had her come because Brandon's like hooked us up with some bagpipes and we had our kilts on and we were just like, we just smoked it, man. It was awesome. What are the kids calling it these days? We were cracked. I don't know how that is.
Oh my gosh.
My son was like, no, that's like his term. If you're really good at something, oh, you're cracked at it. Okay, that makes no sense. What's cool? Anyway, that's the term, you know, when you're really good. So it was fun. It was really fun.
You had that impression in the mission. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, really scary, right? So then I get home, we start dating, and it was just easy. Like it was just easy with her. So that scared me even more. So then I broke up with her and started dating some other girl, like a moron. And then I was like, this is not easy. This is not what I'm not supposed to do this. And then, you know, said, hey, I still like you. We still like each other now. So that's good news. Yeah.
That is good news.
At least I like her. I'm pretty sure she still likes me. You might need to ask her.
I'll text her and see what she says.
Sounds good. Yeah. Yeah. So, man,
That's great.
she says yes. Oh, good. Okay.
It'll be a group text. So
That is one thing we ask everybody who comes on is memories of President Sister Vriens.
Oh, wow. You know, I have actually something that might be a little. So on the mission, I took a picture of him one day out gardening. I don't know why. I still have it. I actually ran across it not that long ago. And he's just standing there smiling, standing there by that little garden that they had that was like out in the middle of the lawn. Do you remember that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, why is it in the middle? Like, put it over. Okay. And he had his tomatoes out there and stuff. But other than any other conversation that I ever had with the man, I'll share an experience that was after the mission instead of one that was. I just shared one on there, right? So clearly he was very inspired and change. He's very responsible for the change that I had of heart that made me someone who you could even think to look up to, Zach. Because when I left, I was not the spiritual, you know, guy that had been through all those experiences. It took time and the Lord refined me, and he's still doing that now. He doesn't stop, you know, and that's good. That's a good thing. But this happened just a couple of years ago. So my youngest daughter, she had hernia surgery. And so the surgery seemed to have gone okay, and we brought her home. And everything wasn't okay. So pretty soon we were like, this is not good. She's not okay. So we called them back, and they had us bring her down to Primary Children's down in Salt Lake, which is where President Vriens lives, and where his business was. And they've actually now moved it out of that building. I think they sold the building and everything. So they're now in Murray. I think Murray area, somewhere in the middle. Anyway, I'm losing my voice. Can you tell? I program all day. I don't talk to people anymore. I have no voice. It doesn't stay for very long. I might have some water. Let me take a drink. So President Vriens is the kind of man. Well, and Sister Vriens, right? I mean, they're one and the same. They're like the sweetest two people who will believe in you no matter how faulty you are or how faulty you may think that you are. So anyway, so they tell us, okay, bring her downtown. So Aubrey gets her in the car. They rush down. And I had to go get kids and bring them home from somewhere. I don't know. I don't remember. I had to take them somewhere. She took her down there, and then she called me and said, go home and get her blanket. I don't know if your kids have these things, but there's certain items that a guy has to bring for a child because it will be the end of the world if that item does not arrive. Well, for her, it was the nursing cover, which she calls her holy blanket because she literally put holes in it while she was nursing. Anyway, moving on. So she's now at primaries, and my wife calls me. She goes, they don't know what's wrong. They think they may have sewn up one of her intestines when they did it or something got nicked, or so they may have to do surgery again. So clearly, I mean, at this point, I'm losing my mind, right? Like any dad would be. Yeah. And I'm in the car, and I get this prompting. It says, call President Vriens. And I ignored it, like I normally do the first time something prompts me. And then it came again, and I thought, okay, fine. I'll see if he's available and he can come help me give her a blessing. So I called over to his to Modern Display, and there was some gatekeeping going on there. The girl at the front is like, well, who are you? Why do you want to talk to Bill? And what's going on? So anyway, I finally get through to him, and I say, President Vriens, can you meet me down at the hospital to help me give my daughter a blessing? And he goes, absolutely, I'll be there. So he beats me to the hospital. He's been there for 10 minutes talking to my wife and our daughter, I guess, on over her hospital bed in the room as they're waiting to figure out what they're going to do with her. And I walk in the room, and because I'm impatient and stressed and worried, I look at him and I say, will you give her the blessing? And I'll anoint? Because I'm sure with President Vriens being in the room with either of you, you're going to defer to him in a heartbeat because of, right? I mean,
sure.
I was just like, yes, I'm so grateful that you're here. So I anointed her, and then he gave her this blessing. And I didn't know at the time until I got a phone call. And well, I guess I kind of knew after that he was having some memory issues. And he gave the most beautiful blessing to my daughter. And she was okay, obviously. She's here. We just talked about her. She's a sweet little Sloaney girl. And just the most eloquent, beautiful blessing, the same blessings that you would received and heard of him when he would talk. And then when he was done, he repeated himself 3 or 4 times. And later, Sister Vriens called me and thanked me for asking him to come and do that, because she felt like it allowed him to still feel like he could be a tool in Heavenly Father's hands.
Wow.
I was like,
that's awesome.
Are you kidding me? Because anyway, so I thought that was really cool. And she kind of tried to share some of that during one of our things down at the, what's it called? The place where we do the reunions. The last time we had one, I don't know if they've had one lately.
There's one next weekend as we're talking.
Oh, is there really?
Yep.
You guys coming? You flying in?
Jack will be there.
I'll
I
be
won't.
there.
Really? Well, I will be there.
Cool.
I guess. I didn't even know. I'll be there. Maybe.
I'll be there with my daughter.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Well, it's a date. Daddy-daughter date.
There you go. Bring your oldest, and
That's a good idea.
Jack will have his oldest. That'll be awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, I think what I was wanting to say with that was that there's something that I learned there that I didn't know was possible. That a man who is so incredibly great, like President Vriens, could feel so small. It blew me away when she called me. I was like, what? How could he ever feel that way? You know, after all the things he's done for all of us. I was so grateful. And I had no idea that I was answering a prayer of his by allowing him to be a part of answering a really fervent prayer of mine. So
thanks for sharing that.
well, there's a deeper. I don't know what to say. I love it. I love Sister Vriens. They're like parents to me, even though they probably wouldn't really want to be my parents. I'm just kidding.
They adopted all of us.
They did. Wonderful people. Anyway,
For sure.
so who's got ice cream? No? Doesn't ice cream sound? I haven't had ice cream in a while. It sounds kind of good. I'm just saying.
It's still really delicious.
Yeah. Oh, good. Good. I'll have to look into that. You know. Anyway.
Have you been back? Have you been back to Scotland?
No, I haven't. Have you guys?
I went just before I first was born. Took my wife and parents, and my grandpa went with us.
Nice.
So it's pretty cool. But that's 12 years ago. So
that was the right strategy, because when you have children, you can make all the money in the world and you won't have it. You know.
I went summer of 07, which was I got home in January, and I told my parents, don't pick me up. We'll just go back in the summer when it's not raining and cold.
Oh,
dark.
So, but I haven't been back since then. And yeah, definitely a place I would love to be back at sometime sooner than later.
Agreed. Yeah. It's on the list. The problem now, though, is that when I go, I would like to be able to take all of them. Right? Like, not just my wife. And that's, there's just,
Can be dear.
It's a little spendy. So, gotta save some clams, and then there's like braces, you got the braces on. I mean, oh my gosh. What a round of braces got. Okay, I'm gonna stop.
Yep.
The British term for braces just ran through my head, and I was laughing. That's why I was
what
giggling.
Is it?
You don't know what braces are?
Not in Britain, no.
The British term for braces is like a part of a lady's underwear.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like the strap that holds the stockings to the underwear.
Oh,
Holds up your sock.
well,
I got told off for that in Aberdeen by, I think, the Buse, the Buse daughters. They were like, "Look, those are not braces."
The suspenders that hold up your trousers are called braces too. So
Yeah, I guess it's a double meaning. That's true.
trousers. What a
I think
great
we all pants.
pants.
Bruisers.
Trousers. You. Oh man.
Russ, do you have any memories of the transition from Purple Dragon to Preach My Gospel in your mission? Did you remember that at all?
Oh boy. I remember it being easier. I felt like the structure of a lesson when we were going through like the MTC and stuff felt forced at times.
Yeah.
And I noticed when I was first out, I had really, really good companions. I think everybody did. I mean, all of our missionaries in our mission were great missionaries. But I had really good senior companions when I first hit the mission field who didn't really do it that way anyway. and so they weren't following it exactly. It was more based on how the Spirit was, and so I'd kind of learned that anyway from them, and so the transition just was easy and made sense to me. I remember looking at my Preach My Gospel actually with my wife, and she's like, "You have a bunch of notes there." I'm like, "Well, I guess I don't. I don't. I didn't think we got it, and I must have made notes somewhere, or maybe I was just my brain was that good then. I don't know, but it must have all been pretty ingrained at that point what we were trying to get across. So, I think, how long have we been out, Jack? Like 4 months or something? 6 months?
Yeah,
maybe?
about that. 4 months. We got like the first chapter paper
Yeah,
copy.
They gave
And
us
then-
like a phone conference or something, right? And then
And then maybe 6 weeks later, got the full book.
Yeah, I was the first group that actually was given the full manual in the MTC. Apparently, everybody before that was just getting bits and pieces.
Yeah.
So it's pretty crazy.
Well, and I had done zero to prepare. I mean, honestly, you go to missionary prep and they're like, well, going through stuff. I went like 3 times. It was not. If you're going on a mission, children, anyone who ever listens to this, prepare. Do things that don't do what I did. You'll be better off for it.
That was a hard thing growing up in Utah, though, was that they called that missionary preparation. And I think Tom Brownlow said it on his episode where he used to go out with the missionaries once a month. And that was his mission preparation. I was like, that sounds a heck of a lot better to me than sitting in a class and hearing somebody jabber on about what their experiences were, because it was nice, but it wasn't real,
Yeah.
Because we didn't see the missionaries very often. At least the missionaries that covered our stake in Sandy, they covered like 5 other stakes. So it was like, when am I going to see these guys?
Yeah, I think we've seen ours in this area. I think we've seen them once in the last 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just it, right? There's just so many people to communicate with that, I don't know, they don't have as much time as we did. I mean, we were so integrated into the wards and the branches that we were with that we just became part of their ward family or their branch family. It was such a different experience that I truly cherished.
Yeah, me as well. I hadn't thought about that, actually, to even think about the differences between those 2 places.
Yeah. I mean, I reflected on it often, and I shared this early on in my mission that I had a building in my backyard that wasn't in my stake. And we went from Peterhead to the Mintlaw Academy for church. And I was like, this is a different experience,
Yeah.
But I'm just a kid from suburban Salt Lake, just whatever. It's just kind of what it is, I guess.
Yeah. I'm actually, you see this piece of art back here? Can you see that? You see what it is?
Can't tell what it is, but
I have the one of Pratt Hill that they gave me when I got married. Did you get one of those? Can you see that okay?
It's a Highland Coup.
This was given to me on my mission. You believe that? Somebody actually, there was a lady that we were teaching. She had MS, which is amazing.
Oh my
I don't
goodness.
even remember where it was, but I do remember getting a ride from her one time. And she had this van with, pedals up here by the steering wheel. It was scary. I thought we were going to die. But she did that one just for me because I love the Highland Coups. I was like, oh, that's so cool. She's like, I'll paint one for you or whatever. I mean, maybe she could, I don't know, something.
That's awesome.
And it's cool. I just saw it behind my head and I thought, oh, hey, there's mine. Anyway, sorry. I just totally went on a tangent. There was a squirrel and I followed the squirrel and here we are.
So. It's all right. Anytime I see a hairy coup, I'm always right back in Scotland, usually in the Highlands, pulled off on some tiny little highway road to take a picture of. We always named him Hamish or something, ridiculous.
Yeah, some crazy Scottish name and some
Yes.
Yep.
So good.
Man.
Well, Russ, we really appreciate you coming on tonight, taking time out of your busy schedule and joining our podcast.
Hey, you're just lucky that Peyton didn't have a show tonight. So if it had been tomorrow or Saturday or last 2 days, I'd been like, sorry, guys, later. No, I'm not the most. I'm not a social, guy.
All right. We tracked you down. We got you on.
I'll text you updates as more people watch it beyond your 2, because I guarantee it will be more than 2 people. You're Mr. Humble.
Oh man, I don't know.
You got all these companions. I know at least 5 or 6 of these are listening to this. Beyond everybody else that you were around in the mission, you've got all of your MTC group. I mean, there will be more. I promise you. I really will. I'll text you weekly updates on how many people have watched or listened to your podcast.
Send them to me. I will. I'll periodically check and see if anyone's watched the YouTube version. I've got to watch them now. I've got to listen to them, right? I mean,
yeah, you do.
You really do.
So hopefully others were, more informative than mine.
This has been great.
You've been great. It doesn't matter what you remembered or not. You brought the conversation that we wanted. So thank you.
Well, good. It was the best thing that I ever did. So I thank Heavenly Father every single day for pushing me, for putting people in my path to get me there. So
we're grateful that you came and we're there.
Good. And same to both of you. So anyway, go hug your wife or something. Goodness. I mean, I can't talk to you guys all night.
I know. We love you, Russ.
We could. We love you, brother.
We love you too. Well, I love you too. There's nobody else here. All right. See you later, guys.
Cheerio, mate.
See ya.
Bye.